Welcome to the Energetic Alchemy of Healing podcast. I'm your host, Roseanne, a certified practitioner in over 13 different healing modalities so far. And in this series, I'm excited to share accounts of my energy healing experiences gathered over the years. We'll delve into the unique intuitive practices of astral surgery that have emerged, bringing into light topics that are often left unspoken. This podcast serves as a safe space to explore the miraculous healings that can occur when we engage with all layers of our energy bodies and utilize the diverse elements of our healing recipes. Each episode will provide insights and stories that reveal the incredible potential within us all. Please remember that all the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and not intended as medical advice. In case of emergencies or health concerns, always seek professional guidance from a licensed medical practitioner. Additionally, for privacy reasons, all names mentioned have been changed. Join me on this transformative journey as we uncover the power of energetic healing and open the door to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Tune in, embrace the possibilities, and let's begin our exploration together. Hi, welcome to our second episode of the Energetic Alchemy of Healing. But is it really? It's probably our first episode because this is our first account of healing. So this particular session that has happened recently was another practitioner came to me and wanted a second opinion. So the appointment was made that I would get back in a couple of days and we would do this session. And this was going to be an in-person session. I can do it online or across, I do not have to be present because as we've learned, like in regular electricity, you can jump arc. So it's similar to like a jump arc. You know where you're going. You are aware of the presence, the time, the place, the realm, the dimension, all of that. And you can pinpoint your energy right into that moment and into that person, and you have the healing moment. So this is what I was doing. So this practitioner came to me and said, my problem is that something is going on in my chest. I had symptoms yesterday that were near like cardiac. And of course, right away, my medical mind says, well, did you take your blood pressure? Did you do this? Did you do that? How is this? How is that? And all things lined up because I would have immediately told this person, go to the ER, go to the emergency room, go, whatever. But no, this is more of a energetic thing because sometimes we can feel anxiety, we can feel almost a tightness around our chest because of certain situations, especially practitioners, because we can receive, even when we have all of our protections and barriers and all of our things are going on, we can receive certain energetic debris that was meant to come to us because we were needing that healing in that moment, our journey of learning. Okay, so prior to all my sessions, I go into a quiet time, usually the day before or the morning of, taking my shower in like it's like a sacred bath, but it's in a shower form, so it's a little quicker. Getting myself aligned, receiving any intuitive guidance. This particular session was going to be a chakra session, like an actual Reiki chakra session. I was going to scan the body and then move forward from there. This is what I knew. I was not using any crystals of any sort because a lot of times certain crystals will call in. The typical crystals for a Reiki session are usually like red jasper for the root, carnelian for the sacral, citrine for the solar, green aventurine for the heart, lapis for the throat, amethyst for the crown or the third eye, and clear quartz or even, different types of amethysts and things like this for the crown, depending. So that's like the typical set. You could get that at any place. But sometimes it'll be like an intuition of like, you know what? Use malachite on their heart. Use merlinite on their crown. Things like this. But this time was like nothing. Use nothing. I'm like, nothing at all. Not even grounding crystals or anything. Nothing. Okay, fine. So the session started. And the newest thing that has been coming to me has been, it is very important at the beginning of the session to make sure that you're not speaking with each other, okay? So when I speak through my session, but I tell my client that whatever I say, do not respond to, just listen and take it in. So I get into my heart space and I use my full emotions to ask for, I'm not just doing face value. So I was asking my team, the universe, right? In that moment, I was taking us into my space, which I was explaining had in another time I had explained that I see almost like a humongous stadium with all the different beings available to assist with knowledge, okay? So no matter what timeline, what dimension, what realm any of your energy comes from, there will be someone to assist if need be. So I pull ourselves into this idea of this place, and I then start speaking with my heart and all my emotion. We are here for a healing session. I intend that we receive, that this person here receives everything that he or she needs to have in order to create the healing of, and then I use my body, my mind, my emotions to convey what this person had told me. And then I'll say, all body systems in alignment, all organs in proper working order, everything, show me everything and create a harmony and homeostasis in the best possible body function right now. Show me what needs to be done, and let's do this for her together. Let's create this thing. And so then I just let it go, and then I will take my hands and I will usually start at the head and I will flush energy through to push out any old debris. So in this one, I did that, and only for a short period of time, because immediately I could see that the root chakra was ready. So I put my hands above the root chakra and I started spinning it in the clockwise position, and it did not spin fast. It spun very slowly, like as if it was a giant, like, when you see a really huge disc, and it spins a little bit slower because of how immense it is. That's what it was doing. And it was a beautiful color, and it was spinning slowly, and I said, okay, how are we doing this now? And then suddenly there was almost like a thunderbolt, like that kind of a shock, like a pew. And I could see that the root chakra, the red color of the root chakra, started going into veins, like as if it was going into every vein, every artery of this person's body. And it had a little bit of trouble going into the lower left leg, but it was going up into the top of the body, and it had some trouble getting up into the head. Well, of course, because if the person is very cerebral, if they're always using their upper chakras, the lower chakras sometimes have that hesitation. But I watched for a few minutes until I saw it fully throughout all. And then around that time, my music switched, because I like to use a music with a mantra, and I try to use 3 or 5 minutes at a time, not longer than that. And then I went up to the sacral, and I still was able to see that pulsing red light going through everything, but then now the orange, and that was counterclockwise. And again, it was like this immense, large chakra, huge, slowly. And as it was spinning, then all of a sudden the energy down and up and throughout the arteries. And now it was like laying on top of the red one. So it was, the red was present, now the orange, and so on and so forth. And we did that with each of the chakras. When I got to the sacral chakra, okay, at that point in time, the sacral chakra, it was glowing so bright, but it was near white. It was, the yellow was like as if a bleached out sunshine. And I thought to myself, does this feel correct to me? And the knowledge came into me, it's not bad, but it could be better. And so then I started to ask for, the branches to come out, and it wasn't quite doing it. It was quite weak. And I said, okay, how come this does not want to go through the circulatory system or whatever that was happening? It looked like a circulatory system. It looked like all the veins and arteries of the body, plus all the nervous system, the two branches, both on top of each other, was where all of that energy was going through each time. And so this sacral chakra, I started asking it, what do you need? And so I started envisioning the color changing, getting a little more like maybe a sunshine yellow, that light pale yellow that you get in a flower, And then I started seeing that the branches starting to move. I said, okay. I said, can we please try to make it a little more yellow? And then in my mind's eye, I showed like a sunflower yellow, the bright sunflower color, or like egg yolk color. And I gave that vision to the chakra, and it started to take it, but never as strong and as bright as, or as saturated as a sunflower, but it became better. It did become better. And so but remember that it was bright. It was large. It was bright. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with it. It just, this was this healer's issue. So we kept going. I was speaking it. The more I spoke about it, the more she herself was helping it as well. That's the thing, is that I always learned and tried to speak that you're not doing this. It's everyone. It's the universe. It's you. It's the person receiving. Because if the person puts a door up, you're not going anywhere with it. If there's any doubt, there's nothing to be. That's why it's so wonderful to work with other practitioners, because they are completely willing and acceptant if they are, So eventually, speaking through, we got to a nice pale yellow, but it was saturated, but it was a light yellow, and the branches started coming. Not as strong as some of the others, and I'll get to that, but it still, I was satisfied. And I actually got to a point where my music switched, and I said to the person, I said, you know what? I said, we're going to continue to work on this after we're finished. We're going to just continue our minds to, so that's what we saw. We saw the red, we saw the orange, we saw the yellow, then we saw the green, the heart chakra. Here was where the person had made a noise, like almost a groan of relief as my hands went over the heart chakra. And there was almost like if there is a bubble under pressure and then suddenly a release. And the heart chakra was huge, and again, moving, and the counterclockwise, and the threads or the branches came out and it flooded through, and it was perfect. You know, it looked great. It was very much a lighter green, you know, almost like a green aventurine type of a color, with threads of other greens as well. There was some threads of pink, and there was some threads of pale blue as well. So the 3-chambered chakra, you know? And so that color came through and went on top of the others. And then we got up to the throat chakra, and the throat chakra, and during all of this, once we got to the heart chakra, the solar plexus actually started it. There was a coughing, almost like a deep clearing started to happen. And so in the solar plexus, it was, you know, and then I grabbed my basket, my garbage can, like I have a garbage can, and I mentioned, I said, if you need to purge, the basket is next to the table. Okay. You know, not even any spoken word, but just a nod. And then when I got to the heart chakra and that burst happened, the client coughed, and you could hear something wet kind of slap into the mouth and spit it into the garbage can, into the can. And I was shocked and happy, you know. And then as more of that happened, again, more coughing and more purging, and it was thick. And the release that was happening just was immense. And the more release that there was out of there, the more the solar plexus became saturated and stronger, you know? So then we went up to the throat chakra, and at that throat chakra, it looked great. It looked really good. On a normal person, I would be like, bomb, right? But something in the back of my mind was like, eh. So I just sat there and I poured the energy into it, spun that one clockwise, and it was not as huge as the other ones, but still kind of slowly moving. And then suddenly when the thunderstorm or the lightning bolt looking things, you know, when the branches started coming out of it, she had such a cough right there in the center, and the mucus that came out was so thick that she was kind of choking a little bit, and it finally came, and it was like, okay, cool. And then after that, her breathing was like so much calmer and greater, you know? So then after that, we went up to the third eye, and wow, it was the strongest sapphire blue with tendrils of like a royal purple, and it was huge, and it was rotating beautifully, and the arteries and veins and tendrils that came out of it were thicker than all the rest. And it's like, there's where all your strength lies, is you're always in your upper chakras. You're cerebral too much, you know? And so I mentioned it. I said, we're going to have to be having you work on your lower chakras more, girl, you know? And then, you know, nod. And so that was easy. That part was easy. It went through. But I noticed that it didn't want to go all the way to the toes. So we, you know, showed it to the toes more, to the fingertips more, this and that. Some bits of the shoulders weren't really, you know, getting there, but it did. But it was like branches thick, whereas the solar plexus was thin, you know. But then we got up to the crown chakra, and it was enormous, you know, and so strong and so vibrant and so saturated. And it almost came through like a pillar, like it was blasting through everything. And I had to almost dial it down, like, don't overtake all the other healing, you know. And so we had to calm it a bit, you know. And so at that point in time, it wasn't reaching the toes either, so we had it reach the toes. Well, as it did this, it was almost like clearing the pathways because there was white light flowing through. Just white, streams of divine white light. And then when it was all finished, I turned off the music. I just left it to be just quiet time. And I said, let's look back at that solar plexus. But I said, let's start back to the root. We looked at the root. As I just touched the root chakra, it lit up stronger, like as if it needed that crown to blast away anything else, because the root then was through all the way to the toes, all the way to the fingertips, to the top of the head, throughout. And it looked like branches of arteries, veins, and all the nervous system, all the branches, all the everything. Okay, red. Then to the sacral, it was a nice orange and like an autumn color. You know, it was so beautifully saturated. Then got up to the solar plexus, and yet still not as yellow as it could be, but it was stronger, you know. And the intention was, we are going to make you better and better and better, and this is a process, right? And we got up to the heart chakra, and the heart chakra was almost happy, like, oh, I can breathe, thank you. And then up to the throat, and the throat was sort of the same thing, almost like, you know, when a pet is like excited and shaking in their boots kind of thing, that feeling when the heart and the throat. And then up to the third eye. The third eye was very, almost like very kingly, like, yes, you know, I feel good, you know. And then the crown chakra was very like, you know. And I spoke to the crown and the third eye, and I said, you know, we need to balance everybody. So either those lower chakras need to become as you, or you need to balance as them. But something needs to happen here. So this is your journey, you know. So I was speaking to it, and I was speaking out loud to the person as well. So that was it. When we were all done, you know, then we anchored her into the grids of the earth, you know, to anchor the healing here into this universe, into this existence. And then always you say, thank you, it is complete. Everything is here now that we need in this point, and we are finished. It is dismissed, you know. And then you're thanking and you're anchoring it, so that way there's no loose threads for this particular healing, right? And that's the way I did this one. And there's different ways for people to do it. This is just my suggestion of the way I did it and how I was guided in this one. So we then went to, I have like my journals, and where I look at my words and I went to my solar plexus area, and I said, let's talk about what you might have been going through recently. So solar plexus, when it's imbalanced, what's going on? Low self-esteem, lack of ambition, unmotivated, lack of purpose, fear of rejection, sensitive to criticism, low energy, sense of worthlessness, superiority complex, arrogant, manipulative, domineering, power hungry, competitive. And she said, wow. And I said, what? I have been struggling with feeling arrogant and manipulative, having a superior complex over other practitioners, which I don't. I am humble. I know I'm really good at what I do, but I'm humble. I don't feel the need to compete. But this negative talk has been coming into me of, you know, I feel superior. I feel I'm a little bit arrogant. I feel a little manipulative in what I'm doing. I'm kind of domineering. I'm a little power hungry, and I'm competitive. You know, yeah, these words are correct, but yet sensitive to criticism. So that is unbalanced, you know. I've been feeling lower energy. I've been feeling like I don't want to get rejected during my healing sessions, you know. I've been feeling a little more prickly and a little bit stronger to criticism from my peers. I'm like, so there we go. So now we know that take time to go into your lower chakras, especially with this solar plexus. So what are we going to do now? So intuitively, I said, let's look into the crystals. Maybe you can make yourself some crystal water and kind of help yourself, by just adding that energy, citrine, tiger's eye, sometimes using things like, atlanticite, because atlanticite is a crystal that gets power moving. It breaks through emotional baggage. So this is what we talked about. I said also too, you can get yourself one of those, you could use anything. You could tape them to your stomach area, with surgical tape, medical tape. I'm like, you could use yourself a little tiny fanny pack and put them in your fanny pack. I'm like, you can have a, one of those necklaces and tighten it around your stomach area as well. Or you can just do your meditations, do solar plexus meditations. Do things that will ripen that area, but definitely ripen the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar, and connect them, And then separately, we talked about doing heart chakra work as well. After everything was said and done, she cleared some more mucus from her chest into a white Kleenex, and as she was pulling away, she looked down and she saw little threads of black debris, and she looked at it and she said, "Oh my gosh, do you know what this is?" And I know what this is. Energetic debris from parasite. It's energetic parasites. So when you receive from other people energetic parasitic material, especially as healers, you have to do energy sessions on yourself to completely clear. So something was in that energy session that she did with someone else that remained within herself as a lesson. It's nothing that can ever transfer, because as us healers, we learn how to become vessels of pure light for others, that we do not exchange. But sometimes we receive because it is written within our program. It is written within our program to receive certain things for our own healing and learning journey, So all of these statements are of my own opinion. They are my journey as a healer. I'm hoping that anything that you heard here was received well, and that could help you as well become more imaginative and open to receive all the different inspirations in healing others. So have a great rest of your day, morning, afternoon, wherever you may be, and I will see you next time.